What's up, Tech Journey family? It is Justin here. We have a special video today for you. We are certainly honored to have Destin with us on the program today. He is a CourseCareers graduate who has worked in tech for some months now and has experienced a promotion. We're going to dive straight into hearing his story. I hope you enjoy. So, Destin, so glad to have you a part, my man. We definitely had a little while to chat before we actually hit the record button. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and just take over, man. Just introduce who you are. Tell us a little bit just about yourself. Let us know who you are on the personal side, and then we'll get into the professional side.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So hey everyone, my name's Destin. Kind of starting off, I guess, getting to know me a little bit more. Essentially, most of my life I've started around technology, computers, all that, various gaming consoles. So when it came to technology, I was very inclined to it, especially, as the times went on and things got more and more advanced. In terms of jobs, which I know this is probably going to be a question that happens later, or some questions that people might be thinking right now. In terms of jobs, I didn't start in the tech industry. You would think I would have, because of my hobbies and my kind of like passion, if you will. But no, I started off, what was it? I think a bus boy at a restaurant, and then I swapped over to being a salesman at a vape shop. And then after that, I worked at a bowling alley. Then I did HVAC work. So I was an HVAC assistant, helping put in people's AC conditioners and whatnot. Um, and then one day I was kind of tired of it, so I went, screw this. I want an office job. I want something I can be at home and do, maybe something along those lines. And so I did some research. I found this, what Justin mentioned before, CourseCareers. Did the process, and now I work from home. This is my work laptop next to me. It's been a great journey, but didn't have too much experience beforehand. But I mean, that's just a general overview, kind of about me.
No, I appreciate it. Destin, how old are you? If you don't
So
mind
I'm,
asking.
yeah, no, absolutely. I'm 21.
21 years old. And how long have you been working in tech?
So I had an internship with No before in May of this year, May of 2022. So that's about 6, 7, 8 months, maybe now.
Cool, man. So 6, 7, 8 months. You are 21 years old. You're working fully remote. And if you can, just tell us a little bit about who Know Before is, and how did you get hired by them? Like, what did that process look like coming out of CourseCareers?
Yeah, sweet. So Nova 4 is the industry leader when it comes to cybersecurity training. It is a sales or software as a service platform where we have different subscription levels. But say if you go with the highest one, which is Diamond, you have about 14,000 different bits of content, whether it's games, posters, videos, quizzes, to test your users on being safe when it comes to being online, as well as you can fish your users and all that. It's a wonderful product. But the way I kind of got into it was through CourseCareers. After you finish the course, you get a list of partnered companies that you can go out to apply for. And Noble 4 was on there. So I applied. And how most companies, they'll have a multiple step interview process. You meet with this person once, and then maybe you meet with them again and someone else the second time, and there's a bunch of steps that happen. With No Before, they don't like to waste time. So I remember, I think I only had one interview, and I think the next day they got back with me saying, "Hey, we'd love to have you." Um, and then you mentioned my promotion before. It was an internship that I went for. It was 3 months long.
Okay.
Um, and so I tried to swap into customer success, CSM, just because I found that it was probably going to fit my personality a little bit more. It's going to be,
Okay.
having my strengths played out more. So I went for that. I had that interview, and they said, "Yeah, we'll get in contact with you if we're interested." And I went, "All right, just quick question. What is that timeline going to look like? Yeah, am I going to get a call tomorrow? Am I going to get a call over the weekend? How does that look?" And they went, "As soon as we know, we'll let you know." I went, "All right, yeah, sweet, no problem, cool. I'll probably shoot you out with a follow email just to see where that's going." We hang up. No joking. 2 minutes later, they called me back saying, "Hey, would love to have you."
Wow, man. Wow. So Destin, like, I mean, like, how does it feel being 21, working in tech, working remote, and I'm really just like interested to just understand, like, are you happy, content, excited? Do you plan on staying in this over the course of the next decade? Like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I am 100% ecstatic. I know a lot of people, not personally, but just in generally, a lot of people do have difficulties when it comes to catching a break or even getting hired, if you will. So I am very, very ecstatic and happy that I got this privilege and this opportunity. Especially with the company that I'm with, Nova Forge, because they love to spoil their employees. And it's just a fantastic company to work for. So I'm, super ecstatic about that.
Wow.
When it comes to tech, I think the tech industry, it's been on the rise for I want to say like a decade now, and it still keeps going and going and going. So this is definitely a really amazing field to be in. Um, the only downside to it, which I'm not even, it's not really a downside. It's more of
Uh-huh.
a downside if it applies into who you are as a person.
Uh-huh.
But when it comes to the tech field, this is something where it's not, you just kind of do what you're expected and that's it. You have to do what you're expected, put in the work and do more.
Mm.
This is something where the money is out there at all times. You have to go hustle for it. So I'll kind of go into like how much I make and whatnot.
Okay.
Industry, not industry, but like it's an entry level. At the bottom of the barrel in terms of the sizes of the organizations I work with, because there's tiered. You have your smaller companies, Tech Touch. You have your medium sized company, your SMB, and you have your enterprise companies, or like the
Okay.
really big ones. So I do Tech Touch. So they're really smaller companies.
Okay.
So commission and whatnot is a little bit smaller, but you still have to chase after it. But base pay is around 40, somewhere in the 40,000s.
Okay.
40,000s. But there's no cap on commission. So if
Okay.
you keep hustling and hustling, you can get up to triple or six digits.
Okay.
I know people. This is a story, but there was one individual who I want to say last year, base pay, we'll just say like 60, 80,000. But he ended up that year like 700,000 in his pocket because he kept hustling. So this
Wait,
is something you have to keep rushing for.
Destin, pause. Just hold the thought for because I really do want you to finish. God, you. By the way, you express yourself so well, and I just this is insightful for me. So I know it is to the community. I just want to make sure we understand and I understand. You said you heard the story of someone possibly last year whose base pay was somewhere around 60 or 70K, and he pocketed 700K.
Yes. So I
Understood.
will say for him, he was one of those individuals who did those enterprise accounts.
Understood.
Um, so it just kind of gives a little bit of insight for people who might be interested, who don't know. So you have lifespans with when it comes to getting money. So you send out a quote, or not lifespan, maybe it's a wrong word, but the cycle of what it takes to them receiving the quote, them talking to whoever they need to talk to about getting it signed, and then sending it back signed. So when it comes to smaller companies, usually it's pretty quick because if it's only 20 employees with said company, they could probably just walk out their office, take two steps, be in the other person's office. Hey, let's sign this. All right, yeah, give me the pin. Done. When it
Wow.
comes to those enterprise accounts, that usually takes a lot more time because you have to cycle through this person and this person and this person to get it signed. And usually during that, they're also trying to look at other avenues that they can take when it comes to a certain product. So for this instance, cybersecurity training, they might go explore this option. They might go explore this option. So the time it takes can take months for that to get signed. But
Wow.
the thing about it though is that usually those really big accounts cost a lot of money for them to sign. So, say if you only get 20% commission on each quote, they still sign it. If it's $1 million quote, you're
Ah,
pocketing 200,000 right there. It just took a
wow.
long time to get there, but that's how that man or whoever it was, I believe it was a man, that's how he walked away with 700,000 in his back pocket. He had an extremely good year when it came to quotes that year.
Wow. So that's just amazing, the type of potential that's in this industry. And also, just for a little elaboration and for clarity, and by the way, if you had a thought to finish, Destin, because I know I interrupted you, you could like just kind of like override what I'm saying and finish that. um but can you just explain, so what was the role you started off with in the very beginning as an intern, and how did that role change in terms of responsibility wise when you became a customer success manager in terms of what you are now? So just explaining a little bit about the role functions between the two.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I think kind of the easiest way to explain it is that the internship role was an SDR, a sales development representative.
Okay.
The role might kind of, or not the role, but the what you're expected to do might vary between company to company. But a general kind of understanding of what an SDR does is that they do a lot of cold calling. You know, those are the people when you answer your phone, hey, do you have a minute to talk? And they try to kind of book a call with you so they can go in more detail. But you know, you typically with my company, I know that they're expected to make about 75 calls a day, while also doing that, you're what they call scrubbing, where you're going out and you're trying to find new opportunities or new companies to try to call and see if they might be interested in what we have to offer. So,
Okay.
portion of your day is calling, portion of your day is scrubbing.
Okay.
Um, and that's just kind of what you do. And then, during that time, if you when you pick up the phone, you're calling someone, the end goal is to get them to agree to a future call, usually with someone else, where
Okay.
they can go in depth about what the product is, what we have to offer, and see from there, okay, is this an opportunity for us to do business or is it not?
Okay.
So not only, your quota, if you will, your quota is the amount of calls and emails that you do within a day, as
Okay.
well as the amount of new accounts you can kind of look at to maybe bring in to do some research on to go call in the future. As well as how many people did you get to say, yeah, let's do a call where I can learn more.
Okay. Okay.
Whereas the CSM side of it now, which what I do now, which I find a lot easier, but again, for me it's easier, for you it may not be. It's just a personal preference, kind of what your strengths and weaknesses are. But for me, what a customer success manager is, you're not cold calling anyone, basically. You're cold calling sometimes, but the cold calling is more or less just you kind of trying to reach out to pre-existing accounts. So
Okay.
people that already have purchased the platform or the subscription, whatever it is, I have assigned to me 150 different accounts.
Huh.
And slowly, I'm gaining more and more and more to the point where I think I'll have about 300 accounts I'm looking at.
Wow.
But basically, I'm calling them and I'm seeing, hey, everything's doing good. I want to bring this to your attention. I looked at your account. Let's schedule a call where we can go and talk about it. So I'm trying to keep them happy with the product that we're offering, as well as making sure that their account stays healthy,
Okay.
and that they're using whatever they bought to the best of their abilities, and I'm there to assist them with that. As well as I'm also trying to do kind of a sales thing with them as well. If I see an opportunity to maybe try to get them to upgrade their subscription, I'm
Okay.
also trying to do that to bring in money for the company, as well as we do for our subscription, you purchase by seat.
Okay.
So if I see they only purchase 10 seats for 10 people, but they're using 15 because you can exceed it. Um, I'll give them a call. Hey, I see that you're over by 5 seats. Is this something on your end? You need to archive some users, or do we need to go ahead and get in touch, put in a quote for you to buy an additional 5, 10 seats? Um, so to me, it's a lot more relaxed. And it's a lot more fun because I get to talk to people who already kind of want to talk to me because it's about something they bought. And it's just a lot better of a conversation, honestly. So I really enjoy it.
Okay. Wow. No, that's extremely insightful. And I appreciate you breaking that down. And so just I don't know if it's stating the obvious, customer success manager in terms of a vertical. that would fall in the same vertical as like SDR, account executive, in terms of that sale pipeline for promotion?
So the sales pipeline is going to be more for the SDR and the account executives.
Okay.
But it's still the same vertical in the sense of promotions and whatnot.
Okay.
Because like I said, I'm only doing tech touch. But if
Okay.
I keep doing better and better and I get more of a hang of it, I can go on to go do the SMB accounts, which are a little bit bigger. And then I can take over and handle them. And so, it's still going to be, about 300 accounts, but now
Okay.
my chance of pocketing money because it's going to be bigger quotes and bigger opportunities, that's going to be more of a percentage in my pocket.
Okay.
So for Tech Touch, if it's a $500 quote and you're only getting 20% of it, that's it's not that much. But if it's a $5,000 quote, because now it's an SMB account and I'm
Yeah.
getting 20% of that, it's much bigger.
Yeah.
Um, so it just comes with experience, but that vertical is still there.
No, that's awesome, man. I appreciate you sharing that. So, Destin, I'm gonna throw the question out first for you to start thinking, and then I'll finish my questioning. But I'm gonna ask you, what advice would you give someone who maybe is just now entering into like some type of tech boot camp or a course careers, and they're on their journey to become an SDR, or even if they just graduated from course careers and now they're kind of in that job hunting phase? uh just what advice would you leave with them, whether in what it's whatever comes to your mind, whatever side you're passionate on, whether it's the interviewing side, or how you are, what kind of mindset you're to have after you get hired. But you just being in your position, being 21 years old, working for one of the leading cybersecurity companies in the world, if not the leading cybersecurity training company, to my understanding. Just being in your shoes, what can you tell someone as encouragement or edification who's about to go into this next chapter?
What a great question. So definitely some things that kind of stood out to me. Is don't give up. I mean, the hardest part you've already done, basically the learning aspect of it. If you've gone through some sort of boot camp, you're basically taking what you could have learned in college in 4 years, maybe plus, within a shorter period of time. So you already did the hard part. Now comes the interview section, which can be argued as the hardest part, but to me, that I argue sometimes could be the longest part, but not necessarily the hardest. Um, but definitely what I would recommend is go out and do your research and scout around and find companies to work for that you actually think would be something of interest to you. So for instance, like I said, I grew up with technology. CourseCareers has to do with technology. So that was hand in hand for me. For instance, I suck with stuff when it comes to cars. I could not tell you anything about a car, what it does. So if I wanted to apply for a car company, probably wouldn't be that great. I have no interest in doing that anyway. So finding companies that you can get behind, that would definitely be some advice, as well as when it comes to, so you get the interview process. To me, there's a couple qualities that are going to make you stand out, or at least it'll improve your chance of getting hired. And those some of those quotes or traits I mentioned are being coachable. First things first, you want to be coachable because no one is perfect at anything they do.
Mm,
Even if you go look at, we'll say Stephen Curry, he's regardless or not regardless, he's I can't think of the word right now, but he's regarded as one of the best basketball players right now.
yeah.
He anytime he goes for a three, he always makes it. He's just way too good at the game right now, but he still misses. He's not perfect. He still misses. It happens. Um, so and what happens is that when he misses and someone tells him, "Hey, you should have done this," or maybe go practice a little bit more, he's probably not gonna get upset. He's gonna be like, "Yeah, I missed one. I'm not used to that. I'm gonna go practice some more. I'm gonna
Mm,
go after this game. I'm gonna go to my home where I have my own court, and I'm gonna shoot 100 free throws in a row. And if I miss one, I'm restarting.
Wow.
So that's something that you have to keep in mind, is that if someone gives you advice, don't brush it off and be like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Mm,
No, if they're telling you something good, there's a good chance that they have what just happened. They're seeing what just happened, but they're seeing it from a different side that you aren't. And so that could be useful information.
wow.
So definitely being able to kind of come across or even mention that you're coachable is a great trait to have.
Mm,
Also, being hardworking. Like I mentioned before, this is something where you have to do what you're expected plus extra. So if you're, the type of person where, you're staring at the clock, then this probably won't work out for you. There was a great quote that I heard, and it sticks with me, but it's something along the lines of, if you want to be able to spend money without looking at your account, you have to be able to put in the work without looking at the clock.
ah,
Have to put in the work to be able to get the money, and they go hand in hand. So being hardworking, being coachable, definitely. Um, And then thirdly, there's a rule within my company. It's literally in company policy. No joke. It's called the no a-hole rule. Just be a genuine nice person. Being nice, it's free, and on top of that, it's not gonna hurt your chances with anything. If you're a nice person and you're friendly, and anyone can kind of get around, or if anyone can hang out with you, no problems. You're easygoing. You know. um,
that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's just things where, obviously it'll come with time. For some things like the coachable, I think we're definitely kind of, in the way the world is right now. A lot of people like to take advice, and they kind of take it more to heart rather than just kind of on the chin.
Mm,
And that's something I think, like, being able to take advice and be coachable is probably the biggest thing right now that would really be beneficial to you when it comes to the interview process.
wow. All right. So you just said quite a bit. Um, Gosh, that's so good. So what I took away is, first of all, look for a job that you can get behind. I mean, that's just so powerful, right? I mean, that just makes sense. If you're behind it, you'll do better at it, you'll make more money in it. Being coachable, and not only being coachable internally, but even being willing to let that be known to the person or the company who's interviewing you that you're coachable, and to be hardworking. So to be a person that you're not looking for something to just happen, but you have the tenacity and the willingness to do towards making it happen. And then also just being genuinely friendly, like being interested in the person on the other side of you. Um, Destin, I feel like you have so much wisdom, so much understanding, and man, sincerely, bro, I really appreciate you jumping on this call. I know that it is helping a lot of people in a major way. It's helping me. I'm like looking forward to when we get off this call. I'm going in the living room to talk to my wife. I'm like, Tia, look, check out what we just learned. And so yeah, man, just greatly appreciated. And hopefully we will keep in touch, Destin. I definitely want to continue to see your journey progress. 21 years old, you've only been working in tech for about 7 or 8 months, already have moved into customer success manager. And now we're about to go into 2023 of a whole new year, man. The sky's the limit.
Start with your best foot forward.
Understood. Well, thank you, Tech family, for tuning in. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope you drop in the comments in the box, letting us know what you think. If you have not done so, hit the subscribe button, and we will see y'all on the next video.